An entry from the journal of Zara Gabriella Fontaine, dedicated, as with every entry, to the mother of invention and to King Augustus Valentine IV.
Eustace and I finished the repairs to the Tempest today, and with that, our work is done, and the Celestial Armature Frames are all fully operational. The Fontainium is such a dream to work with, it hardly felt like work at all. The metal instantaneously bonds and fuses when it's attached to a frame. It's almost like the substance was made just for them. I don't know yet what magical properties this metal has, and every time I tried to ask Adeline for help, she just sneered at me. I also don't know exactly how these frames move. Nemo won't let me take one apart to see. He says we can't risk destroying any of them, especially when we only have 5 to work with. I have a theory regarding how these frames let us, specifically us, in. It's possible that even non-elves emit a small amount of magical energy. Even if this was a minuscule amount, too little to be measured, that energy signature would be unique to an individual, just like a human fingerprint. It could be that the 5 of us happen to be perfect matches for the magical energies emitted by the frames. If I could prove that was the case, it would further justify my hypothesis of the magical aptitude of all living things. Or maybe Nemo's right. Maybe I really am the reincarnation of Arto Clearwater. Whoever was in charge of reincarnation that day really needed to double-check their math. Well, if it is true, then I wish I could just talk to her. Learn what she was really like. How she saved the world. Why she made the serendipity so impractical. All that stuff. I mean, who knows? Maybe we could have even been friends.
Hello, and welcome to Roll Dice and Cry. We are an actual play podcast where we roll dice and you cry.
We will also cry.
This week, we are returning from our Cathapalooza, our Celestial Armature Frame creation, to let you know that, yes, this is a mecha game.
Yay!
The robots are here, and they're here to stay. Joining me today from west to east is my fantastic castmates, starting with Chander.
Hey y'all, I go by Chander. I'm from SoCal, and y'all can find me on Twitter and Tumblr at ChanderClear.
Next along the line is Emily Riesbeck.
Hi everybody, I'm Emily Riesbeck. I write comic books and video games and stuff like that. You can find the details of that on my Twitter at the Blue Valkyrie.
Mari Costa.
Hi, I'm Mari Costa. You can follow me on Twitter at Marinskos. You can read my webcomic at perrytale.com and rate us and review us on iTunes. We have an iTunes.
Whoop, whoop. Fantastic. I don't know why I whoop whoop there. Nora?
Hello, I'm Nora. You can find me on Twitter at Snoraru. Yeah, I post some drawings and stuff.
And lastly is Sloan.
I'm Sloan. You can find me on Twitter at FC. I also draw something sometimes.
And my name is Zachary Fredrickson. I'm your host and GM. You can find me on Twitter at ObfuscatingGod, where I will never draw anything. And that's a promise.
That's a lie.
It's also a lie. In the Endless Sea, where we left off, some stuff happened. Some shit popped off. What was supposed to be just a normal job turned out to be so much more. You have been revealed by Bartimaeus Nemo, the man who hired you, to be, at least in his eyes and in the eyes of his employer, Lady Deeplore, who you have not met yet, but he assures you will probably meet eventually, to be the reincarnations of the Titans, an order of heroes from thousands of years ago, who apparently fought some sort of dark evil that didn't go away forever and is coming back, at least according to their prophecies. And with these giant robots, they hope that you can save it. Save the world. No pressure. So it's been a couple of weeks since then. It's been about a month since the first time you got into these robots. And you haven't really gotten into them much since, except for, some practice here and there. A little training, a little tweaking, making sure everything works right. But you haven't really done a full field test.
Do we have weapons yet, or?
Yes, the weapons you discovered in the armory. Yes, so the weapons you built during your calf creation are currently equipped. And so now it's what's we had your vignettes in the calf creation episode, but what's your whole month been like?
Pretty busy here. I've been helping Eustace repair the mechs, I think, and during my spare time I've been tinkering on a couple projects of my own. I think that I've been I'm Zara, by the way. I think I've been just in case anyone forgot, I don't know. I think I've been keeping myself very busy. Mm-hmm. So if projects get done and there's no more work to do, I don't take a break. I'll just start something new. Okay.
And there's been a lot to do. There's most of your work y'all have been doing is, one, restoring the mechs, which you and Yusuf have been doing. Two, restoring the Bastion. Stuff like those turrets that came here, those have all been decommissioned until you can figure out a way to fix them back up. The broken gate has been repaired in the main compound mostly by Debonair and her crew, because that was mostly just a matter of fixing it via hard labor, removing the rubble and stuff and getting it all working again. So over the last month, this Bastion has started to look a little bit more shipshape.
Is there a way to train with the mechs, like a simulation kind of thing, or is it just
I don't think there's a holodeck or like a dummy plug or anything. If you're gonna practice with a mechs, it would be on the island somewhere.
I'm not sure Radiant wants to do that, because last time didn't go super well. So I think he's been doing a lot of actual physical training, setting up the little wooden things that you can hit with a spear.
Training dummy?
Yeah, the training that, and also he's been doing a lot of fishing because it calms his nerves, and also because Chella, because you'd like some answers, please. Hey, hey, buddy.
How many fish do I need to give you to get an answer on this bad boy?
Yeah. Rain isn't enough.
Has anyone of us not been kind of avoiding the others?
Oh, Ford's been avoiding people for sure.
I don't think Radiant's been avoiding anyone, because this is his friends. He's not mad at anyone. He's just nervous.
Ford's just really awkward because he's still not out of the mentality of being a hired hand here. So he's mostly been awkwardly hanging around Calico, I think. Because that's the one person he knows on the island.
Or trying to blend into the rest of the sailors and carrying things.
Yeah, he's been doing a lot of manual labor, heavy lifting, and then in his spare time I think he's walking around with a notebook and muttering stuff about astronomy. But if he sees anyone coming his way, he immediately stops and acts like he's doing something tough. Starts prying a rock off of the wall. Yeah, starts flexing. Starts doing push-ups.
Act natural. I was gonna say that Radiant is doing the opposite of what Ford is doing with isolating himself. He's basically just inviting everyone that he can find to fish, so he doesn't have to be alone with his thoughts.
Aww.
Okay, so here's my question then. How pushy is Radiant about fishing?
Pretty pushy. It's important to him. It's an important ritual.
On the one hand, there is absolutely zero world where Zara wants to do this, but on the other hand, she's very easily cowed by pushy and insistent and confident people.
Radiant is very, how do you know you don't like it if you've never tried it? That's it. That kind of stuff.
If you really think you'd be insistent enough, I think Zara would go fishing with you.
No.
I think Ford would also go fishing.
She would definitely go fishing. I think she's also being very social. And she's doing this thing where she's avoiding all physical labor and stuff. Like, you know, in a way, like, if someone asks her to do something, she will pretend to do something and then delegate the task to someone else while pretending that she's very busy with something, other thing, that she also delegated to someone else. So she will go fishing all the time, every time.
That's perfect, because Radiant really wants to do the fishing by himself and just, like, talk to someone. As soon as someone else is like, hey, let me fish, she's like, oh, but what if you do it wrong? And Chella doesn't like it.
I think
He doesn't say anything, but, like,
Yeah, Tiku's definitely not fishing. Sorry.
Yeah.
that's great. I think Ford's picked up on the fact that Tiagu doesn't want to do the work, and he needs something to do to avoid being, you know, having to be social. So every time Tiagu's doing something and he isn't, he, like, comes up to her and is, you know, tries to get her to delegate the tasks, so it's a weird symbiotic relationship there.
Nice.
Aw.
Teamwork.
Yeah.
Adeline would also go fishing.
Yeah, what's Adeline been up to?
Hanging out in the research camp with all the cool pirates, mostly. Just because there's lots and lots of people, so she can sort of blend in with the crowd.
Are we treated differently than, like, everybody else?
It depends. Eustace is trying really hard to treat you all like the same way he treated you before.
Is he doing a good job?
He's doing all right. He's a pretty down to earth, salt of the earth kind of feller. So he's doing all right. I think Calico is sort of. I mean, Calico barely talks to any of you except for Ford anyway.
Sounds about right.
Crewmates will treat you differently if they know, but most of them don't because they aren't really like. For a lot of the crewmates, because there's a lot of folks who didn't see the robot fight.
Oh, but did they see the robots or no?
A little bit, but like most of this research camp is in the outer compound and not in the hangar where the robots are.
So there's one guy who's like, who's gonna pilot these robots? Maybe it'll be me.
Aww.
It's Horatio. From the skinny boy who was in the deck swab.
Oh, yeah. I love him.
Yeah. So what does bring you all together? Is it the fishing?
Yeah, maybe you all accidentally show up there, like...
Radiant's like, hey, do you want to help me fish? And he asks everyone that.
Yeah. Covering all his bases.
Mm-hmm. And so this is let's see, you're all at this fishing pond in the woods that Radiant found a while ago, and this is the first time you all have seen each other. Like you've seen each other in passing, but like some of you are like not engaging with anybody except for the people you've chosen to engage with, like Eustace or Nemo or whoever. So this is the first time you've all been in the same place at the same time, without the sort of, the excuse of some sort of physical labor to keep you from interacting. So how does that go?
Who shows up first to this fishing?
Maybe Ford, especially if it's early in the day.
I do hate mornings. It's on my character sheet. You can look it up on Twitter.
Hey Ford, how's it going?
Oh, it's going. You fishing?
Pull up a seat. Yeah. I'm always fishing, Love fish. Love to fish.
I think Ford nods and sits down. He's used to fishing being a quiet activity, so he's assuming that Radiant's not going to try to talk to him.
Joke's on you, Ford.
Yep.
Yeah, you fucked up.
So how have you been lately?
Oh. Getting by. Lot of stuff to do around the compound. How are you? How's your god stuff?
I think he made rain at one point, but I can't be sure, because sometimes it rains just like naturally. Hey, this is a weird question.
Uh-huh.
When you were listen, hear me out. When you were piloting the big robot, what are we calling them, by the way? This is in character.
Big robots.
The big robots. All right.
I could pop in here right now.
Yeah.
I think like you hear like a rustling, and like a very sleepy looking Zara like sort of like pushes her way through some bushes with like the goggles are up on my forehead, so you can see my eyes that are like only half open, and like kind of you know when you're really tired and you blink and it's like you blink one eye then the other. Yeah, that with a little like cup of coffee. We have coffee, right?
Yeah.
If we don't have it, I invented it. I'll throw this in the guts.
Question: I think I have to do with. Do you think coffee is a Galarian export? It's a bean. Beans they're on vines, right? Coffee vines.
Are they?
I know so little about coffee.
Nobody knows.
What is coffee? We don't know.
They're beans?
Yeah, coffee beans. Yeah.
Beans in water.
Yes, I know. I'm asking what. Yeah, they're kind of vine. I've been imagining a lot of Galarian exports are like vine-based plants, like tomatoes and grapes and coffee.
Yeah, like a 6-second video service that was popular for a while but then quit.
What?
Vines.
Oh. Man. I thought you were doing like Kofi, and I was like, that one's still around. You like that one, Zach?
Yeah. Go with the fucking sleeper hits.
Yeah.
That was beautiful.
Anyway, I walk in with a cup of coffee, and I think I walk in as you guys are saying this, what do you call it? And Ford says a giant robot, and Zara goes,
Nemo called them Celestial Armature Frames.
Nemo's a fucking nerd.
Well, he's accurate.
Like baby cows? Like calves?
I suppose that you could shorten it to calf if you so wish.
You can't, I mean, it's easier, right?
I put up my hand, like, stop talking, and I raise the coffee cup to my mouth and take a long sip.
Oh my god.
And I hold it there for a second, and I slowly lower the hand, and I nod at Radiant to continue.
Oh, you're that kind of motherfucker.
Yeah.
Well, alright. When you were in the baby cow, were you yourself?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Never mind then. Don't even worry about it. Who wants to fish?
Radiant,
What's up?
were you yourself, or was there something else in there?
Am I still bound by my quest to not lie?
No, you discovered the secrets of the island, so
Okay.
that quest has ended.
I can lie freely now.
Jeez.
Forever.
You sinful child.
Why would I not be myself? If you guys weren't.
Listen, my friend, that's a very specific question.
I'm just healthy curiosity.
Uh-huh.
Hey, is that Adeline?
Yeah, I was gonna say Adeline is walking up and listening very quiet and like listening, and just like sits down and is like, that was a pretty specific question.
Ford awkwardly waves at her as she comes up and sits down.
So I got a question. Are you all sitting on the same side of this pond, or like are you like ringing the pond at this point?
Same side of pond,
Same
right?
side.
Well, chilling. All right, our good friend Radiant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you guys like circling me? Not circling, but like one is sitting on one side and the other sitting on the other side. Just like
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah.
interrogation style.
Adeline hopped onto a rock that's actually in the water, like a pretty big one, so she's not gonna fall or anything, but she's sitting on this cool rock,
Dang, that's so cool.
playing the mandolin.
I awkwardly take a sip of my coffee.
Yeah. Tuku, like, drops out of a tree. You have no idea how long she's been there. But she's like...
I jump with a start and drop my cup of coffee, which spills all over the floor.
Tuku laughs so hard.
Tuku's probably pulled this shit before, so Radiant's just like, hey Tuku, what's up?
Hello.
Do you really have to sneak around like that?
Absolutely, yes. Yes, it's a requirement. It's in my contract, actually.
Does she pull out the contract?
It just says, I do what I want.
Yeah.
Tuku Bell.
So, yeah.
I do want to remind Adeline that she felt somebody in her brain, too.
Oh, she did.
And that might be something relevant that you might want to commiserate with your friend Radiant about.
Maybe not in front of everybody else, though, is the thing.
That's also true.
I'm gonna reach down and like sort of pick up my, the remains of the coffee, which is all spilled out now, and I'm gonna sort of look at everyone. I'm gonna say, so big robots and reincarnation, huh?
I thought they were called Celestial Armature Frames.
Yes. That's what Nemo calls them.
Ford looks like he's holding back once again, saying Nemo's a fucking nerd.
Nemo's a fucking nerd.
Thank you.
What are we supposed to do?
Save the world, I guess.
Is that what they really wanted us to do? Is that like... Because I really hope that's not just some kind of a ruse.
Me too.
I just got hired to punch stuff,
Now you can punch stuff in a very big robot.
Yeah, but what is it that they want us to punch?
I don't think any of us got hired to just do what we were told.
No. And I, for one, really don't like that.
I want to say, I'm going to turn to Radiant, and I'm going to say, Radiant, I'm sorry for doubting you.
I guess I can understand how you would. And forgiveness is a tenet of Cella. Probably. This is Mari. This is out of character, probably.
Like through like gnashed teeth, like I guess God wants me to forgive him.
Yeah.
God told me to be nice.
It's like that fucking scene from Toy Story where revenge is not a thing that we do on my planet, but we're not on my planet, are we, cowboy?
Oh yeah. My God's not here, pal.
First of all, he's always here. I saw footprints in the sand, and the other one was Cella or whatever.
I don't know if I really believe in this reincarnation stuff.
Right? It's so fishy.
Why us?
Why anybody?
But I'm not anything like, at least the story versions of Arto.
Mm-hmm. I would, for one, really like to find more about these chumps.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much the opposite of a nice cleric.
Radiant says nothing, because he doesn't want to admit that he's nothing like Ipathy's a great paladin.
I'm going to say, well, at least, I sort of gesture at Radiant, and I say, well, at least one of us is similar, right? Ipathy's was a paladin of Cella, too.
Yeah, no, of course, and, Adeline, Ambrose was aboard, right? So this is the same, probably.
I think that he was maybe a bit, he was very charismatic. He seemed to be. The stories were all very grand.
But how can we know how much of them are truth, though? For real? And I, for one, really do not like to be compared to someone out of a story.
Well, it's a lot of research, a lot of cross-referencing. I'm sure Nemo has some books. There's that one old tome that's, I think so far has been touted as the most accurate, but I guess we'll find out.
Do you do a lot of research, Ford?
Ford looks like a deer caught in the headlights. And he quickly goes back to whatever he's doing, which I think he brought his own fishing pole. He's putting the bait on and he's like, I knew an astronomer once.
An astronomer?
Yeah.
Where would you meet an astronomer? Didn't you mostly do mercenary work?
Well, you know, you get hired to go all sorts of places. Like Baron has astronomers in it.
Why? Astronomy is the stars in the sky, right? What would it have to do with this, aside from, like, the moon cleric, I guess?
Well, you know, they kept records and stuff. And sometimes seeing the things that you can prove and can see accurate, can help you find other sources, you know, stuff like that. Yeah, so I've heard.
Yeah. Wow, Sport, you know so much about astronomy.
These astronomer buddies of yours, do you think they know if the moon is a planet or not? So you just, like,
the moon is not a planet.
Quoting you from the party?
The moon is not a planet. We don't know what it is, but it's not a planet. We have tracked the planets going across the sky. The moon does not follow the same patterns. And then he catches himself and, like...
We?
Tiku smiling so wide.
God.
I think this is where fate intervenes and saves Ford.
God bless.
We hear, off in the distance, you hear, Radiant! Chuku! Ford Melbourne!
Is that Jameson?
Yeah, it's Jameson.
Oh, God. Maybe we can just hide and he won't find us.
That's a great idea.
What's wrong with Jameson?
Nothing's wrong with him, but with all the things they're saying, saving the world and getting in the Celestial Armature Frames and
Radiant gets up and waves. Hey, we're over here!
Yeah, we're over here!
Thank God. Okay. And you see Jameson, who was wearing, like, when you first met him, he was wearing, like, you know, ranger duds, almost like scout clothes, like a green cloak with, like, all these like, not fancy, very, like, working, like browns and greens and grays.
Legolas fashion.
Legolas fashion. Now he is dressed like a nerd.
Oh no, another one.
He's wearing white and blue, with, like, just, like, khaki pants, I guess, because he's kind of taken off his scout duties now that they've got people on the island, and he's mostly just been doing clerical work as an assistant for Nemo. And so he comes out and he comes over. It's like, oh, thank the gods. We've been looking everywhere for you guys.
What's wrong?
Well, not 100% sure, but Nemo's really worked up about it.
Is something wrong with the Celestial Armature Frames? Eustace and I checked and double-checked and triple-checked their work. There should be no malfunctions left.
No, it's not that. It's, he just wants me to come and find you.
Right. So?
Well, we're here.
Vague as always.
And bring you back to him.
Oh, I was about to say, well, you found us.
Yeah, thank you. I did find you. Thank you for being able to be found for once. Is something important going down at the Bastion, I guess it's called. So, could you come with me?
Of course. You can calm down. We were just fishing.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's just, you know, he's just kind of he's very high-strung. All right.
I think Ford physically grabs Tiyuko and, like, grins down at her and is like, well, let's go save the world.
I guess so.
And so you head back to the Bastion, Jameson towing you all along. And the first thing you notice as you come in is, like, Nemo is at the gate, and he's, like, yelling something at some of the sailors. And he's like, "You're sure it works, right? we gotta have the whole red carpet laid out. We can't just have the gate not work. And they're like, it works. Like, it's opening right now. He's like, all right. And he points them, like, he like jabs a finger in their face, and like, he is not having a good time.
Ford's having a great time now.
My new side quest is helping all these sailors form a union.
Yeah.
I mean, there's unions in the world. I'm sure these sailors are part of one.
Oh, well, in that case, then quest complete.
Yes,
Experience,
nice.
please.
You did a great job.
Eustace is a union organizer for blacksmiths and metalworkers in Azure Bay. Anyway, he goes, okay, thank you so much. And he turns and he sees you. He goes, fantastic, awesome. You weren't wearing your armor and stuff. I need you to look good. Come on.
I always look good.
I look confused. I don't have armor.
No, but you have like your cool gauntlet and stuff.
I'm not gonna wear that around it's dangerous.
It is dangerous. It's like, all right, everybody get suited up and meet me in the control room.
Mr. Nemo, sir, what do you mean by suited up?
I don't just get your kit going. I don't know.
Is something wrong?
Is this like a formal dress thing?
Kind of. What you might want to call a employee review. The boss is coming.
Oh.
Great. So this is just what we need. Okay, fine. I go get my stupid artificer gear and put it on.
Yeah, Ford gets suited up.
The Radiant also does this.
Do I get my magnetic grappling gear too? Because that shit's like a big backpack.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's up to you.
No, I mean I do. It's just that Nemo says suit up like I'm gonna end up looking cool instead of looking like an overprepared nerd, which is like that's me.
You know, you do what you got to do.
Most of Radiant stuff is made of like netting.
We just like suit up and we all look like garbage.
You know,
Adeline's always kind of ready to go, so she's just like, yep.
There we go.
cool.
At least one of us looks good.
He was gonna dress up so extra, like the
Good.
full Phantom Thief outfit with the mask and everything.
Perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
So you all take your, whatever amount of time it takes, and you all meet up in the control room, which is it's a big tower, between the physical location of the hangar and the Bastion's main hall. In that sort of, central room past the main hall, so remember there was the forge, there was the big map in the main hall with all those pillars, and there was a second room with the crest that goes down to the hangar, and the stairs that go everywhere else. One of those sets of staircases goes up, and there's this huge tower in the center of the Bastion. And at the top of that tower, it is basically like a lighthouse in that there are windows on every side so you can see out for like a huge span. It's like a crow's nest on a ship, basically.
Like that thing on the Statue of Liberty?
Yeah.
This is also where that giant crystal, viewing device was, right?
Yes. On one side of this room, in one part of this room, there is a big tank filled with water with a big crystal on it.
I think we talked about this before, so if this is okay, I'll say that it has been modified a little bit to have like some of those batteries that I use. Like it's been clearly modified with like extra tech so that it's actually like running and like operational without one of us touching it. Yeah, I was able to figure something like that out. If that's okay with you.
Yeah, totally. And there's also like a ring of tables around, not a ring, like a table that rings this room. It's just a circular room, like a shelf at table height with like chairs, like stone swivel chairs are on it. And those, like some of those have like their own tanks on them, and some of them are just empty, or there's sockets where tanks were. And in the center, there's this large map that is made of this, not map, it's a table, a circular table, that is more like that table that everyone sits at. But it's taller. It's like more closer to waist height than anything else. And this is where Nemo has you set up. And now that y'all are up here, you can see out, and there is the hand-in-hand out in the port. You can see, like, its pennants flying. And you can also see a second ship next to it.
What does the ship look like?
I don't actually know. I actually don't have a name for it. I figure if you wanted, you could name this one yourselves.
Fudge.
What was the name you mentioned again?
Well, Galerian ships have that sort of rhythm, like the hand-in-hand, the over-under.
Can it be the eye for an eye?
Oh,
that's a pretty good one.
Yeah. Or tooth and nail.
Tooth and nail is pretty good, too.
That's also a good one. And it also doesn't have to be that naming convention if you don't want it.
No, I like it.
Yeah, I like it
Yeah,
too.
it's really cool.
It's real good.
Yeah, other ships in the Armada are the over-under, the in and out, the through and through, the roundabout, the quick and clean, the steady on, the here and now, and the where and when.
Nice.
Ooh, wow.
Good rhythm.
Yeah, fun little, bounce. So the tooth and nail, or the, what was the other one? Eye for an eye?
The eye to eye is also good.
Ooh, the eye to eye. Ooh, I like that
the
one.
eye to eye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So it's that one. That's the name of that ship. And I guess
And
it's
it's also
pulling
a pirate joke. The
Aye,
aye.
Well,
that's a sailor thing.
sailor joke.
Yeah, right. Sailor. The same thing. What's the difference?
It's true.
And this and the ship so is docked next to it. And I think it's roughly the same size as the hand-in-hand. Maybe a little smaller, maybe a little bigger. I'm not 100% sure. The full design of them, of all Galerian ships, is sort of halfway between a like height of piracy, golden age of piracy sailing vessel and like a steamboat, where it's like metal and wood sort of mixed together. They're bigger than a normal galley would be, and they have sort of engines, but they're not like a full on steamboat or an ironclad. But it's here, and Jameson and Daria Debonair and Calico Black and Eustace Flint are all in this room too.
Shouldn't we go greet them? Or are we just waiting?
Calico is like sitting on a chair, sitting in a chair, one of the swivel chairs on the side, and like he's got it turned all the way back around so it's not facing the table, and he's like, oh.
Always good for input there.
Ford goes and leans against the wall next to him, just as like to get as far away from the rest of his lovely companions as possible.
Aww.
The Titans, ladies and gentlemen.
Eustace is kind of like fiddling with his hair and his like bugbear beard. He's like, "You told me to get nice and cleaned up. This is about as cleaned up as I can get."
Oh, you look nice.
You look really good.
Oh, thank you.
Ford gives a
you.
thumbs up.
He's got his normal like blacksmith apron on, but he put a suit jacket on over it.
Aww.
Perfect.
I love him.
I go psst to Eustace, and I point at my elbow, showing, and so that he can see that he has a little stain of grease on his elbow from when we were working.
Oh no.
Shit, and he like tries to rub it off and just gets more grease on his elbow.
Oh.
I like cut it like that kind of motion, like
He like very quickly and anxiously puts his arms behind his back.
I give him a thumbs up.
Did you say Daria was there?
Yeah, Daria's there.
What's she wearing?
She is in her actual captain clothes. So
Nice.
she's got
Nice.
she's like, she always wears the captain's jacket, but she also has like
A
an
tank top.
actual like a usually the tank top, but she's got like a silk
Tricorn hat.
Ooh.
she's got the tricorn hat.
Thank
She's got
God.
like a silk embroidered like top shirt that's got like the crest of the Armada on it, and she's got like actual breeches where before she was wearing like just running around pants and boots. Now she's wearing like actual pants, trousers with the stockings, and she's not a fan of it because she likes to dress down, but she still looks good.
Yeah. Adeline doesn't stare. It just says like sort of near her. Not that forward though, but it's a good look.
Is it too extra for Radiant to have some kind of knowledge passed on by like his mom or dad or whatever that he can like wipe that grease off properly because he worked with tar in low tide?
Yeah, I think in this small application, I think that's cool.
Yeah, just wipes it off like, okay, buddy, I got you.
Aw, that's so nice of him.
So nice of him. And Jameson's like kind of fretting between you. It's like, yeah, I know, it would make sense to go and greet her down there, but, you know, Nemo really wants to make a good first impression, and he wants all the Titans here and looking really cool and good, and oh my god.
By making her walk like a mile and a half?
That's kind of rude.
She's not walking.
Oh.
Are they carrying her?
And the door opens, and Nemo comes in, and he says, presenting, for the first time ever, the Titans of the modern age.
Radiant is still wiping Grace off.
I'm gonna say...
asleep.
Aw. I'm gonna say Tuco is like sitting on the desk, on the table.
Mm-hmm. Like the central table?
Yeah.
Nice.
Zara has noticed a small component out of place in her glove and is now like got it kind of like half taken apart, repairing it.
Oh no.
Everybody act natural.
Everybody, yeah.
The closest thing that Adeline can do to a fanfare with the mandolin is what she's doing.
Have it be like I know you're a great bard, but have it be like slightly out of tune just for like the touch, you know?
Yeah.
And he looks at you and he goes, and conversely, introducing Lady Morgana Deeplore, owner of the Deeplore Mining Expeditionary Force. And
Hi.
And from behind him wheels in this super old dwarf in a wheelchair.
Beetle dwarf. Just
Beetle
to
dwarf.
remind everybody that dwarves are beetle
She's
people.
a beetle. She's
Yeah.
a Morganite
Beetle.
which means she has a sort of glossy, sort of cloudy pink shell. She is based on a character that Mari made a while back. I
Yeah.
want to make sure that got out there that her creation was not entirely my own.
Yeah.
Or
But Grandma.
grandma. She's
Morganite is a new name. Deeplore is not.
yes, and so she is extremely old. Even though dwarves live for a long time, you can tell that she's wicked old. And she's being pushed.
How long do dwarves live, actually?
Oh, like several hundred years.
Ooh,
Okay.
longer than elves.
Longer than else, especially if they keep up a good diet.
Mm.
You know,
Don't smoke.
like how like lobsters never die unless they're killed. It's like that. And pushing her in this wheelchair is another not as old, but still pretty old Koshaki, who has sort of like an orangish tabby, who is graying, and who has a strip of cloth over her eyes. And yeah, she wheels in and like starts to get too close to the center console, the central table, and Morgana like kind of taps on the hand of of the woman who's pushing her. She's like, Yada, stop! You're gonna make me. And she stops just shy, and she's like, "Sorry, my lady, it's I can't see." She's like, "I know, dear, I know." And she leans down to like whisper in Lady Deeplore's ear, and she says, "It looked pretty cool, though, right?" And she nods back.
Radiant starts clapping.
Wait.
He doesn't know what else to do.
Did she say it looked pretty cool or they look pretty cool?
It looked pretty cool.
It looked
okay.
pretty cool.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We look like idiots.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
that's true.
We are idiots.
Yeah, this old beetle dwarf, she kind of crosses her hands on her lap and she says, "Hello, Titans. My name is Morgana Deeplore. I'm the one who did all of this. You're welcome."
You made the calves?
No,
Oh,
I
okay.
paid for the ship that brought you to find them.
So you found it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That line with like hand on Radiant's shoulder, like
It's so helpful.
Yes, I found it, but I created the Deep Lore Expeditionary Company, and I would like to think that counts for something. Bitch.
I have a quick question.
What? Sorry.
Do I not get +1 to negotiations with Morgana Deep Lore?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought so because of my love.
On
of it.
your
I chose
on your
so.
next, it's like +1 forward on your next negotiation.
Okay. So if we have to negotiate, I'm good at this. Well, I've got shit. But
I think when she says, like, bitch, Ford
I don't-
looks
I
up
don't
and
think-
over at her.
I don't think that was.
I
in
don't
character.
think that was in character, no.
Aw.
Aw, let her swear.
No. I mean, and also, I'm the only, like, guy in the podcast. I should probably not be calling people bitch.
I'm gonna look around at everybody, and I'm gonna then look back to. Well, first I'm gonna kind of side eye Nemo to see if he's like anxious or anything, and then I'm just gonna look at Deep Lore, and I'm gonna say, "Okay, Miss Deep Lore."
Mrs. Deep Lore. She pats the hand of.
Oh, congratulations.
She pats the hand of the woman behind her.
I
Man,
love them so
what?
much.
They're really good.
So glad.
I'm so glad I called her Miss Deep Lore. I'm very sorry, Mrs. Deep Lore. This has been an interesting expedition, to be sure, but I think I speak for all of us when I say we have a few concerns.
All right. What are those?
What are we supposed to be doing?
Well, child, I'm glad you asked. And she...
I'm an adult.
I'm 600 years old. You're all children to me.
Ford shrugs, like, fair.
I love her so much. Jesus.
And she like,
Oh my
she
God.
kind of snaps her fingers, and Nemo kind of jumps to attention. And she's like, Bartimaeus dear, will you get my scroll, please? And the planning, the ledger. And he's like, yeah, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And he runs and, like, runs outside the door and, like, comes back in with, like, a suitcase. And, like, pops it open and starts pulling some stuff out. And so he pulls out two things specifically that he puts on the table. One of which is a extremely old scroll, wrapped in vellum. Not just vellum. It's something that's kind of like vellum. And if you were, I kind of want to just give it to you because it's like and she could tell you as well. It's tattooed into sealskin.
Ooh.
Which is some ocean punk shit. So it's a scroll that's tattooed in the sealskin, but it's like in the shape of a normal scroll. It's got like whalebone on the ends that so it rolls up and like you seal it in a whalebone like tube, like a hollowed out bone. And she says, "This is the last surviving piece of writing from my grandmother, who, if you can do your math right, was alive within a couple 100 years of the Titans' disappearance. She took down a number of things. She was a very fastidious woman, but she took down the accounts of a number of people who were said to have been parts of the Titans' retinue, and put those accounts
does it
down in
say?
writing. The plans, speculation on where they went, what happened to them, and what to happen in case things necessitated their return. In it, there are a number of interesting coincidences that pointed us in the right direction. Well, especially when you added them onto Ileana's gift. And the woman pushes her, the Koshaki. She bows and she says, "My name is Ileana Toratora. I am called Bright Eyes, and I have a gift." And Ileana points to her eyes and she says, "While normal sight is outside of my abilities, the path that stretches out before me is so much clearer, and the path that stretches out before others as well. And your paths are entwined from here onward.
Radiant raises his hand.
Aww.
She can't see you, but but Morgana says, "Yes, Radiant."
Okay, but no disrespect, I promise. My question was, what are we supposed to do?
I was getting to that.
Okay.
And she points to the second thing that Nemo brought out, which is a ledger. And she says, "This is our plan to stop the end of the world. We have reached most of our preliminary goals already. We have found the reincarnated Titans, we have found the Titans Bastion, we have found the Titans' ancient weapons, and now what is next is to remind the world that heroes exist. Because while the power of the Bastion and of the things within it are great, and while I'm certain that you are all accomplished and capable adventurers in your own right, the end of the world is not something that you can simply punch to death."
Ford looks a little offended.
Everyone turns and looks directly at
everyone
Ford.
looks at
Yeah, exactly. And when I turn back, I say, but how do you know the end of the world? That's ridiculous. How could you possibly know that was happening?
Well, I don't understand the question. We had the prophecies, we had the sight of Ileana, we had all sorts of things.
And what are the prophecies?
Well, I mean, they're simple. That the Titans have returned at the time that they're needed, and they would stop it. Or they would try, at least. Prophecy's a fickle thing. I don't like to leave it up to chance.
If you don't mind me asking, has there been like some sort of physical end of the world? Like, what is the end of the world supposed to look like? What are we defending against?
And she looks at Nemo and she says, "You said they fought a creature," and he says, "I mean, yeah, they fought a lot of creatures. They fought the flaming skeletons, and they fought the giant skeleton that shot fire beams out of its mouth."
Oh, I see. More of
punched
those
a
then.
fish.
Yeah, we fought a fish, man.
I think they might be talking about the very big monster that we fought, not the fish man.
Morgana nods and she says, "Yes, more of that sort of thing."
It was a very strange looking monster.
And it wasn't something that you could defeat on your feet, was it? It was something that you needed the Celestial Armature Frames to take out.
I do have one question, ma'am. Actually, I have so many questions, but what happens to all of this when and, if we prevent the end of the world?
Well, that's up to you, I suppose. Our job as the maintainers of the faith, the keepers of the path and the plan.
I'm sorry, the faith?
Yes, faith the Titans would return, faith that there was some way to stop the end of the world. Our job was to get you here and to get you in a position where you could make a difference. Beyond that, I suppose it's up to you, but what I was expecting was, a return to the old kingdom. This place, this entire world was united under the banner of the Titans once. Could be again. But first, the world has to continue to exist.
I don't know a lot about politics. I don't know anything about politics.
I know nothing about politics.
That feels like it would be not a lot of people would want to do that. Like uniting all of the kingdoms. It feels like there's kingdoms because people are fighting.
That's true. Whether you want to unite them under the same banner explicitly or an alliance for the protection and continuation of a life in the archipelago, I suppose, is up to you. Our job is merely to facilitate your decision and to stave off the end.
What happens if we decide no?
Well,
I sort of look worriedly at Nemo, like I got this answer already.
Mm-hmm.
You see Nemo's fist clench, and then he like quickly puts his hands behind his back, and Lady Deeplore like sighs, and she does look very frail in her age, and she says, "Well, if you refuse the call, we don't have many other options, but we have some, and we will do our best to stave off the end in your absence. But I have a much stronger belief in our success if you're here, rather than not."
So, are you absolutely certain that we are, in fact, the Titans? What evidence do you have to support this? Because I think, no offense, ma'am, I think it's a lot of bullshit.
And she kind of chuckles and she says, "Well, you got in the Celestial Armature Frames, you made them move. You found the relics of the bygone era that called to you. You were able to access the hangar at all, which would not have been possible without your presence." And then Ileana speaks up and she says, "And also we know, because I see it."
Oh, great.
I want to say that Ford is wholeheartedly buying into all of this, but he's trying to look like he isn't.
Aww. Radiant is like the math lady image trying to put together how this fits into his whole religion.
Aww.
Well, let's say that we believe you about this reincarnation and the end of the world. Why does it have to be us? I'm sure if you go out into the archipelago, you'll find plenty of people who are more than willing and able and more capable to pilot these machines and fight off giant monsters.
I think Nemo steps forward and smacks his hand on the table, and he's like, "You really don't get the idea of reincarnation, do you? It's not you that we need, it's the spirits in you, the souls."
Wow, rude.
And I'm guessing killing us off until you get more convenient hosts isn't on the table.
Nemo looks at you and he says, "Yes, it's not very practical." And Morgana smacks him on the side of the hip. "Bartimaeus, you're being a dick."
Ford grins. This is delightful.
Okay. No, okay, you guys, don't get fooled. This is the long con. It's good cop, bad cop. I'm just kidding. I love her. She's wonderful.
I think Radiant clears his throat and he's like, "It's us, guys. We don't have to fight over it. I know that it's not bull hockey. It's not it's not any of that. It's real. We're the Titans."
Adeline agrees because also got to get some Titan disappointment mostly, but she is still staying real close to Radiant because she stopped him from doing some dumb shit. And and says, "And what kind of, if this is legendary heroes, I don't think." And then they left and quit and went home is generally what happens.
I mean, listen, clearly they picked us for some reason. You know, we might as well try. We're here anyways, we're getting paid.
Oh, right. Nemo, Bartimaeus, can you get the other bag, please? And Nemo goes, "Yes, ma'am." And he goes out and comes back with a bag that jingles when he puts it on the table.
Okay. Tiku's eyes widen, and she's like, well, I mean, Forrest, right? We were picked for a reason. I know I'm special. I know you all think you're special too, and, yeah, I could use an image change. I could be a hero, sure. I'm into it.
Is Tuka just that fucking scene in Brooklyn 99 where, oh god, what's her name? She starts talking to all the psychiatrists about her life.
Yeah.
Gina.
Gina, yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's that for sure. And so she starts, she opens the bag and it is full of gold coins. And she says, I trust Galerian dollars would suffice, if you really need a different currency, we can talk about switching it out at a customs house. And she counts out 100 gold for each of you.
Holy shit.
Jesus Christ. That's a lot in Dungeon World.
Yeah.
That's a lot in Dungeon World.
Yeah. Well, kind of. I mean, you can carouse with 100 gold coins.
Time to do that. Here we go.
How much does everyone else in the room get paid who's not a Titan?
Less, but still a good amount.
I have a question
All right.
on possible treasures and artifacts we might find on our way when we're being heroes, heroic saving things. If we just happen to stumble upon something, how would the protocol be? Like, can I have it?
I mean, yes, legend, you're supposed to be heroes. I'm sure that you'll come across things on your travels that will be of aid to you. I'm not condoning rampant thievery, but, if it's for the greater good.
Well, we're all law-abiding citizens here. I don't think there's any point in comments such as that.
Radiant raises his hand again.
Yes, Radiant.
Not that I want to do this. It just feels like appropriate to ask. Do we have license to kill?
Oh my god! Here we go.
Radiant. License to kill.
How many fucking bodies can we bury?
Oh my god.
Listen, if we kill everybody, is that kind of saving the world?
It does not. No.
Holy fuck.
Technically, the world is still there. It's fine.
He just thinks it's a cool thing to say.
Forth looks at him and he looks very worried.
Holy shit. Yeah, Zara looks at him too and looks very worried.
This small kobold wants to kill people.
He doesn't. He just said he doesn't.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I don't want to kill anyone, but will you get mad if I kill anyone?
I mean, is it not a valid question?
That is a valid question. Not that I want to kill people.
Right?
But what happens if we do?
I mean, you're subject to the laws of the land the same as everyone else. I'm not. This isn't some. I have some friends in some governments, and I can, pull some strings to handle transportation. But I can't grant you political immunity.
Okay, but if we land in prison, do you have any strings there? Because, saving the world ain't the easiest thing.
Morgana, kind of rubs her temples a little bit. And she says,
Sorry, Mom.
We're pissing her off, too.
please do not get thrown in prison.
I don't want to.
I absolutely
Neither.
do not want to.
Well, fantastic. So we're all...
But
agreed.
But sometimes prison just finds you.
Prison
Or
has
not.
never,
Even if you're not looking.
She was a
Looking for
stockbroker before this.
prison has never found me. Radiant, has prison ever found you?
No, absolutely not.
I think it's just a matter of time for everyone has this time in their life that
No, I've never been to prison. Absolutely not.
just hasn't happened yet.
Lady Deepler, have you ever been to prison?
Yes, but I'm also very old and I've done a lot of things.
See?
Oh shit.
See?
Backstory.
Yo, Lady Deeplore is hard.
Yeah, you think I'm not gonna put an old lady in my campaign without her being a badass?
That doesn't mean she has to have, like, been arrested.
Hey,
Could have been a good badass.
you know, there's different... Not every law is just.
We found out she got just, like, belligerent drunk. I thought this was Galeria.
So are there other questions? We kind of lost the plot a little bit.
Yeah, we did.
You don't have license to kill. I'm not empowered by any individual governments. I am a private citizen who has bankrolled some things and has made some friends in her time, but that's about the extent of it until you establish yourselves as a power.
Adeline says, as I know you want us to save the world and that is our big task, but what do you want us to do, like, this week? You know, like, how can we establish ourselves as a power? It's
What's
not going to
step
be
one
hanging
for
around on
us?
this island. Yes.
Well, that's a good question. Thank you, Adeline. Now, if you will direct your attention to that thing. And she points to the tank in the side of the room. And she says, that is what one of the apparatuses that the Titans use to communicate with each other. It is said, especially when I scroll here, that was used to communicate over massive distances. The entirety of the Empire you could speak as if you were in the other room. Now, we've got some short-range versions that work within a certain radius. And we've got this one. And I've got one back on my estate in Galeria, but it doesn't work. The reason why they don't work over any distance beyond the short term is because the uplinks are down. On each of the islands of the archipelago, we know there are special transmission nodes, locations where ley lines converge and can power a transmitter that sends and receives the signals from these crystals, allowing you to communicate over expansive distances. Obviously, in the 2,000 years since the end of the Titan era, those have gone dark. But with the help of the modern Titans and Mr. Flint, and Eustace snaps to attention and does a salute. He doesn't have to, but he does.
Aww.
We hope to get them back online so that we can expand our communication network in a more permanent and immediate fashion. Currently, we do know the location of one such node, the Galerian node, somewhere in the region of the city of Tulane. I'll need at least some of you to go and, start it back up.
Well, I didn't understand any of that, so maybe I shouldn't go.
Ms. Bell, Ms. Fontaine, I believe you might be suited to this task.
Do I look like a nerd? But sure.
I adjust my goggles and I say,
well, if the transmitter is anything like the one here, it's actually relatively simple. It uses, I won't get into the details, but if it's anything like that, then I can fix it.
Now, if you'd like to come with me, we can discuss the details further.
I look at Tuku, like...
Yeah, Tiku tracks. I want to explain Tuku's thought process and why she thinks this is a great idea, actually.
Okay.
She doesn't understand anything. She doesn't have to do anything. Zara's gonna do all the work. She's just gonna lounge there.
Yeah, fair. All right, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Nice.
She's gonna be like, oh.
Well, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic.
But what about Radiant and Ford and Adeline?
And Morgana, Lady Deeplore, she looks up at Ileana and she says, "Darling, could you inform them of the favor you need?" And Ileana nods and she says, "This is less a matter of reinstating the Titans network and more a general sort of heroism. I come from a village really, called Kiln near Purple Meadows. in Zolyat. I don't often turn back to the thoughts of my birthplace, but recently my dreams have become more and more vivid. I know that some sort of darkness is targeting my home, and, well, it just seems like a good coincidence that the Titans would be able to help it, especially with the Spring Festival coming quickly.
I'll be happy to help.
Thank you. I can give you the proper directions. And Morgana stops her before she goes, and she says, "The only issue with that is I only have connections on transporting your frames through Galeria at the moment. We're still making inroads with other organizations. If you're going to go to Zolyat, it's going to be a bit more difficult to maneuver yourselves. You're going to have to figure out how to, if you are going to bring the frames with you to combat whatever darkness this is, it's going to be up to you to figure out how to move them."
We can't just ride them there, right? I'm assuming.
Is that in character or out of character?
Yeah, that's a character.
That's up to you, though. I can say that a 50-foot tall robot walking through the forest might be a bit of a cause for alarm to the average townsfolk.
What about,
Fair.
like, flying over the forest?
Can we fly?
Ford's mech can.
Oh
Kinda.
shit!
Fords can
It
hover.
hovers. Yeah.
The BD cannot fly.
Fords can hover. Adeline's can like teleport a little bit,
Yeah.
and then you have to walk.
Here's what BD can hunt.
That's good.
That's useful.
Yeah,
That's useful.
yeah.
Just gun down some deer.
Oh, no.
Blast them. Blast those idiots. Save the world.
Just makes like a deer kebab with this very big sword.
Hell yeah.
So basically the situation is, and the scene made it seem like I just decided for everyone, but we talked this out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So are we going with Morgana then?
Yes, she's gonna go, and then at the beginning of your next episode, you're gonna talk about that.
Sure. Okay.
Okay.
So I mean, Tiyuko and I are saying goodbye then, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
Yes.
Yeah.
I sort of look at everyone and I say, well, goodbye. And good luck.
You too.
Ford does the thing where he, like, puts his hand up where it's almost a wave, but he just kind of puts it up and, like, moves it once, and then awkwardly
Anime
puts
wave.
it down. Yeah, anime wave.
Adeline says goodbye to Tiyuku.
Oh no.
Mean.
Man. Really mean.
Bullying this bunny.
Oh, that's
Everybody fucking bullies this fucking rabbit. Everybody's bully. Which, it makes sense. I'm a nerd.
Tuka's gonna take Adeline's hand and make her wave to Zara. And it's like,
I awkwardly wave back knowing that this wave is not genuine.
Get one of those like our get along shirts where Adeline and Zara should just wear
Yeah.
one big t-shirt over both of them.
yeah. And Tuka's like, so you're going to a festival without me? Remember to bring us souvenirs? And, I'll tell us how our nerd thing goes, I guess. So.
And we'll get you all something from Galeria, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Tulane is a university town. I'm sure it'll be extremely.
Wait a second, hold on. Ford, do you recognize that name?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's,
just wanted to make sure.
It's Ford's hometown.
Oh my god.
My God.
We find Ford's yearbook.
Oh my god.
Yes. The
Find
problem
his
is
parents.
we don't know that his name is Amadeus Linnaeus, so if we meet the
No.
Linnaeus, we're just gonna be like, what nice orcs.
What?
Yeah.
What lovely orcs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to refrain on putting too much details into that one, because that'll be at the start of your next episode.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, we go with Morgana.
Yeah, Tika's waving at everyone and then just like runs along. Make sure she has her money.
I look up at Tsuku, my traveling companion, and I give a kind of a weak, like, unsure smile.
Tsuku's smiling so wide, like, we'll do great. It'll be so great, partner. And Tsuku, like, pats Zara on the back.
And Eustace goes off with you.
I think that if Tsuku does do that, I think Zara's smile stops being forced and starts being a little genuine.
Aww. Tiku's motives for this are so unpure. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
And Eustace follows them out, and he like turns back to all of you, and he's like, "Now I spent a lot of time getting those robots up and working. Don't break them."
Oh, I sort of peek my head back in, and I say, "Oh yeah, and Radiant, and Ford, please go easy on the fists. It's really hard to replace those little parts."
I have a sword.
Ford looks offended.
Ford.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Ford.
Ford looks offended.
You know, I start walking away, and you can hear me talking to myself, like, you think they would make the fists more durable if they're the main weapon, but I guess, some people just don't think ahead. Trails off.
I'm sorry. I want to ask if Ford can send something home, because I don't want to interfere with anything. But I figure if they're going to his hometown, like sending a letter with them would be, the smart thing to do. Just keep in contact with your family.
So, what, are you sending like a letter or?
Yeah, probably just like a letter. So, if I may, Ford catches Tsuku a little later, maybe when there's a break in the meeting or something, and drags her off to someplace a little quieter and more out of the way.
Yeah?
And reaches into his pocket, and I want to say that he's towering over Tsuku, and the shadows make him look a little menacing. So you get the feeling that whatever he's pulling out of his pocket could be dangerous, but then it's just a letter. Addressed to the Linnaeus, and there's a street address and everything fairly close to the university. And he shoves it at Tsuku and goes, there's a professor in town. I mean, a doctor. I owe him one. Can you get this to this address? Please.
Well,
it's all
since
very
you said
awkward.
Please.
Yeah, he did say please.
Yeah, you did say please. And I think Tsuku's like grinning really wide, like, you did say please, Amadeus.
No.
Yeah.
So don't worry. I'll get this safely.
And
To
please don't say anything to Zara. I just feel like I'll never hear the end of it.
no worries. And Tsuku like tiptoes to pat Ford on his shoulder.
Ford pats Tsuku on the back, except it's more like a very hard hit. Well, not too hard. Not like damage hard, but
Tsuku's still like, okay.
And Ford gives an awkward thumbs up and kind of walks away. Like the walk when you know people are watching you, and it's just a little awkward. Ford's not great with people.
Tsuku's very pleased. She feels like she has some real leverage on Ford.
Man, she does.
Oh, man.
And you know who's gonna read that letter?
Yeah, Tsuku.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm so sorry about that, but she's gonna do that. And she's gonna
No, it's
reseal
okay.
it.
It's okay.
Before Lady D-Floor gets everyone to split up and starts to do their individual briefings, she says wait and has her chair wheeled around so she can look at everybody, and she says, I understand that this is not the path in your lives that you expected things to go. This is not the sort of thing that anybody expects their life to go. But I would like to tell you truly how grateful I am that you are still here. Things are going to be dark going forward. Things may even seem as if they are without hope. Her eyes flick over to Nemo. Something she says. I have been without hope before, but it is important to maintain hope. It is important to keep going, even when it seems like there is nothing that could possibly be done. You must do something. I believe in the Titans. Let's make sure that everyone else does too.